Sometimes we're young, sometimes we're older when it really comes to beginning to discover our life purpose. And let me say that regardless of how young you are, you're never too young. And regardless of how old you are, you're never too old to begin to consciously partner with God in the plans that He has for your life. Now, when you begin to think about God's plans, it's kind of like, well, that's really nebulous. I mean, that's really up here. What does that look like? How many of you have ever put together a puzzle? You ever put together a puzzle? Oh, different pieces. Okay, a couple of you. Well, if you put together a jigsaw puzzle, it's very easy if you begin, or at least it's easier, if you begin by putting the borders in place. If you have the four sides of the puzzle, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, because then you can build the puzzle from each of those four sides. So when we look at life purpose, for all of us, life is a puzzle. It's kind of like, all these things happen, and all these thoughts and all these experiences, and it's like a puzzle, and they're nothing but pieces, and I have no idea what it's about. So what I want to do to begin with is to help you to look at the borders of the puzzle. There are four things that we're going to look at over the course of today. We're going to look at a border we call design. And I'll define design later. Basically, design is how have you been created? How were you created physically? How were you created in terms of your strengths? How were you created in terms of your personality? Because each of you are unique individuals, and you have a unique design. Secondly, there's passion. All of you have a passion. I know that because there is something inside of you that drives you. There is something inside of you that is important to you. If that were not true, you wouldn't even be here today. But there's something inside, and we call that passion, and I'll explain more about that, but that's like the engine in a car that gets us going. And then there's something we call preparation. All of life experiences prepare us and have prepared us. Things never happen randomly. And even though God doesn't cause all things to happen, He does put them together, and He can use them in preparing us for that which He has in terms of a plan for our life. And then there's a calling, something that you have on your heart that you're wanting to give to others, that you're wanting to impact people, that actually is a message that has been written on your heart. So we're going to explain all that, but once you discover the four borders or the boundaries, it's much easier to complete the puzzle of your life. Now, if you were to look at this, I know that kind of anticipating a puzzle can be a very daunting, it can be a very difficult task. But however, a clear puzzle boundary can often give us a picture. Do you know what that picture is? Anybody in here? The American flag. Now, it's missing at least 90 to 95% of the pieces. But just by the border, I can tell it. Now, if I had made that the Kenyan flag here and took out all the pieces, all of you would have said, it's the Kenyan flag. Just because you would have recognized the border. If you can get a glimpse of the border, you can get a glimpse of the big picture of your life. And what I want us to do today is just begin to give you a glimpse of that.